You know the techniques, but there also are effective traits associated with successful fundraising. Hi, I'm Bill Stanczykiewicz. This is the first day from the fundraising school, and I'm joined today by Amy Lampe. Amy is the Associate Vice President of BWF, a nationally regarded consulting firm helping fundraisers across the United States and internationally as well. And Amy is the co-author with Josh Burkholz of Benefactors: Why Some Fundraising Professionals Always Succeed. Amy, great to have you with us on the Fundraising Schools podcast.
Thank you, Bill. This is a true treat as we are partially a Hoosier family. My husband actually attended IU and IUPUI for his master's, so this is a true pleasure.
Well, we're grateful for you speaking to our national and international audience on this podcast. And I know we're going to focus on a few aspects of the book, but just kind of overall, why do some fundraising professionals always succeed? Why did you and Josh write this book?
Well, one thing that I felt on the heels of having managed a team actually in the performing arts before joining the firm as a consultant is as we sat down and knew that our next collaboration was going to be a book together. I talked to him about, folks still don't know what fundraising is about. They still don't know what I do. They still don't know all of the skills that are required of fundraisers to make sure that we make and empower philanthropy at our organizations. And so as we were putting together the idea of a book, really marrying the art and the science of fundraising, we talked about what a lot of those soft skills are, and many things that exhibit a leader, many of the attributes that exhibit fundraisers in general. And we were able to narrow it down to 8 factors or attributes of things we've seen and noticed and experienced and had to learn or exhibit in the field.
And we want to highlight just a few of those while encouraging folks to, again, pick up that book, Benefactors: Why Some Fundraising Professionals Always Succeed. And Amy, you and Josh have identified the importance of data-driven fundraising. What is your key point there?
Well, with data-driven fundraising, we want to encourage not only the prospect researcher, but the major gift officer, that together fundraising is an art and the science. So we shouldn't be fearful of the data. We should use the data to empower us to raise more money for our organizations. And if fundraising science is actually more of your jam, if that's something that is really passionate for you, know that there's actually an art to it, that every data scientist also is an artist, and every major gift officer can also be a data-driven fundraising scientists. And if we look at that marriage of the two, you become a more efficient fundraiser. When you use data to inform your work, you actually are able to be able to use the data to harness relationships. And one of my favorite quotes of my co-author, Josh Burkholz, is he talks about that fundraising will always be sitting in someone's living room asking them for a gift. But what analytics and data science does is it tells you which living rooms to visit. And so that efficiency model with higher pressures of fundraisers needing to raise more money in campaigns, raising more money and bringing in more philanthropy for their organizations, we need these efficiency models that have been deployed in corporate America for decades. And so being able to utilize data in informing your decisions day by day, and using your database as the harness, as the whole of your ship, of your fundraising shop. So all the decisions that you make actually come from your CRM. I have found as a fundraiser that using that approach does raise more money for my previous institutions.
And in fact, my contention is the most important person on the fundraising team is that staff member assigned to overseeing the database. Kind of like Jefferson said, that information is the currency of democracy. Information is the currency of effective fundraising. And, fundraisers are highly relational people. I would just encourage you to get in relationship with your data. Amy, a mentor of mine, said the data will talk to you.
Yes.
That's a way to kind of personalize it a little bit and not be thinking we're just looking at numbers on a spreadsheet.
Bill, I'm so glad you said that because I tell clients all the time, your data has a story to tell you about your donors. Let's talk about, and we'll preview an analysis of what the data is telling them through a predictive model. And I was like, this is the story of your major gift donors. We make assumptions all the time as fundraisers. This is how my major gift donors act. This is how I know this is who my donors are. But your data winds up telling you a completely different story many times. And now that we have so much data that we've been able to collect through the years, I really feel that every future shop needs to be a data-driven shop focused on that analytical nature. And we're starting to see it. I love it because we're starting to see it at homegrown. Actually, when we first introduced predictive fundraising models to arts and culture organizations, that was Josh and our first project together. I noticed that you had these CDOs, the ones that were previously annual giving officers in individual giving, they had that bent towards data-driven fundraising, and they understood the power of data. So it's really interesting to see data-driven leadership in our fundraising shops come into play in these organizations. And by and large, what I've noticed with my clients or at previous organizations, those data-driven shops become highly efficient. They raise more money. They're more efficient with their time. They're more effective with their time. They're using metrics to inform staff performance so that they know that they can have a pulse on where their money is coming and where their sources are. And it's really, it's an exciting time, I feel, to be in fundraising because we can use these tools to learn about connection, to learn about engagement. We can put data behind how connected a donor is to you. There's data behind how engaged, how a donor feels about you. So using that data to inform strategies, I think is magic. And I think is really something that's exciting for our development leaders.
Data also are part of innovation, another key theme in this book. And, Amy, when people hear the word innovation, they think I need to be like Dr. Rebecca Richards-Cordum at Rice University, who innovated low-cost solutions to reduce infant mortality in developing nations. Or they think, I need to be Steve Jobs and be a founding father of the future and invent all sorts of cool things. How does innovation fit into effective fundraising?
Everybody can be an innovator. I'm here as a fundraising innovator telling you, you too can be an innovator. And truly all that innovation is putting two different ideas together to create something new. So when Josh and I, as I mentioned, first partnered, we introduced fundraising analytics to the arts. Now, fundraising analytics had already been invented and with a book that Josh himself had written, and we introduced it to a new sector, and it was magic. And so I feel that if you look at any kind of innovative idea and you can dissect the genius, 9 times out of 10, it's different ideas that had already existed, but you're putting them together in a new way. And so that's another thing we're hoping our book also accomplishes, is it empowers the new fundraising innovator. We want your ideas. We need to see your ideas so that we can create a new business moving forward.
And Amy, one aspect that can inhibit innovation is people think, I need the one big, gigantic, huge idea, like the iPhone or something like that. Or other people say, I came up with a great idea in the shower. And I think, can I come take a shower at your house? Because my shower head doesn't have the big ideas. But it's just like fundraising. We don't sit in our office and just wait for the big gift to walk in. We can't limit ourselves by thinking we have to wait for the big, gigantic idea. As you said, we're often looking at existing information and asking what comes next.
Correct. And it's actually trying to think ahead. Josh often talks about, we talk about it at our firm. It's not the best practices necessarily, though we all do want to strive towards best practices, but what are those next practices? What are ways that we can be propelling our shops towards the next practices in fundraising and be thinking about what that next idea is?
And you also have an excellent chapter on leadership. And well, the podcast with Josh specifically on that topic. But I know you like to emphasize the soft skills of fundraisers as leaders. And there are some that you have worked on developing, and we all need to work on developing in your and all of our fundraising careers.
Absolutely. As a data-driven fundraising leader, a couple of things and takeaways that I have for other leaders is I made data-driven hiring decisions. I started data starts at the top. And so that kind of leadership has to be exhibited by your CDO. And so I would, no matter what position I hired, they all had to be comfortable with the database, from a major gift officer to a foundation relations professional to a development associate, individual giving. They all had to have that skill of comfort, because we would dive into the database together to allow it to harness our operations.
And so developing those soft skills, seeing yourself as a leader, having the character and approach of forgiveness is so key to being an effective leader as well. And those are outlined in this book. Benefactors: Why Some Fundraising Professionals Always Succeed, co-authored by Amy Lampe, who is Associate Vice President of BWF, as well as Josh Burkholz, published by Wiley, which also is the publisher, by the way, of Achieving Excellence in Fundraising, the 5th edition, the key textbook from the Fundraising School and the IU Lilly Family School of Philanthropy. And speaking of leadership, when you come to the Fundraising School, you're going to learn how to fundraise. Our alums meet or exceed their fundraising goals at a rate higher than the industry average. And you can also learn more about our leadership, 4 courses leading to the Certificate in Fundraising Leadership, one of 4 certificates that we offer, a couple of dozen public courses that we have. We have custom training. All of our courses are available in person, online, in the United States, around the world. We have these free podcasts, quarterly webinars. All of the information is available on our website at philanthropy.iupui.edu/the fundraising school. So grateful for our guest today, Amy Lampe, on this podcast produced by Jennifer Boffman and Mike Anthony. I'm Bill Stanczykiewicz, and now you are more fully informed on this first day from the Fundraising School.